Alright, so here we have a grafted cacao. This is from 3/17/21. Today is 4/22/21, so a little over a month. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this tape, and I'm doing this with the cell phone handheld, so forgive me if the quality's not that great, and this is going to be a little tricky to do this way. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back in a minute, come back with a knife, and I'll cut that away so you can see it. Okay, so I started to remove it with the knife, and you can see that it looks like it's healed really nice there. Looks good. So I'm going to take it all off completely so you guys can see what the rest of the scion looks like on the 1 gallon. Now the number 3 means it's one of my more productive cacaos, and that's the one actually that's right here in the ground. This is the guy I'm talking about. This is my number 3 cacao. See the number 3 on the trunk? And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a beautiful tree. This is about 4.5 years old, and it's in a nice little spot here in the yard. Coconut trees above on the in the east side. The fence helps to protect it from the winds. We have another cacao right next to it right here, but this guy is not as productive, but he does have 1 pod. Then I have the carambola tree right over here, which does a pretty good job of helping to give it some filtered light and a little bit of wind protection. And then on this side, it has it's kind of hard to see it, but you got a moringa tree up there that's I topped it so it'll get bushier, so I get a little bit more shade. And then I'm going to plant. Actually, I have over in that corner. There's a neem tree that's growing pretty quick, so I'm going to put another tree down in that area so I can really give these guys wind protection and a little more filtered light. I don't want them in a deep shade. I want them in a bright light because I do want good production. I want good wind protection, and I want to also maintain less stress from this full sun, even though people do grow them in full sun. Okay, so we're looking good. The graft looks nice there. See if I can get it to zoom in. Graft looks strong. It's I'll push on it a little bit so you can see. I mean, I'm not going to be ridiculous and push real hard because obviously it'll break, but you can see that it's fused nicely. Another thing that's important when you do a cleft graft, keep in mind that you don't have to have you have to focus on the 2 sides. Get at least one side well matched, but if you get both sides matched on one side, and then if on the opposite side you don't have a perfect match, it'll still heal up because it's going to heal right here where you have good contact. So keep that in mind and practice grafting. You'd be surprised. You're going to fail a lot. Most likely, you're going to fail quite a bit until you begin to really get the hang of it, and you'll discover that you have a nice skill, and you also have a heck of a lot of nice plants. Here's another one over here. And that one's doing well too. You can see a little bit of growth there, and you can see the tip. Now this one, the difference is that you can see I left the mother plant intact. I left all that top growth. Now I'll cut that away. I'll give it another week or two. I'm going to cut that away and do the same thing I did on this one. Now over here, when I grafted this one, I did a little different. I just did a cleft graft without leaving anything on the bottom or on the top. And sometimes you do leave some leaves on the bottom, or you put a shoot up on the side so that you can give the tree some energy, some photosynthesis. Another mistake people do is they put them in too much of a shady location, way too shady. The soil is way too wet, and then you really don't have good energy from the sun. But in some cases, that's not even that important. What's important is that you protect it well with either a plastic bag or you put the parafilm on it. And when you do the parafilm, don't put it on super tight, because if you put it on super tight, you're going to make it difficult for the buds that are swelling to come out of the parafilm. So as you wrap around, make sure you leave it a little bit loose along the places where you have the buds you know, potentially swelling and coming out from there, because you will have trouble if you make it too tight. And again, like I said, practice, practice, practice. Cacao is a great plant to graft. It's really not that difficult. Just keep everything clean. Make sure you use a really good sharp grafting knife. You know, make smooth, clean cuts. Be careful you don't cut yourself. You probably will quite a few times before you get proficient. And the advantage of grafting, obviously, is that now you have a plant that can produce the exact same pod as the one I showed you just a minute ago on that tree. And that's a nice, productive tree. It's a young 4.5-year-old tree that produces quite a bit. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed this short video. And if you have any questions or if you have any comments, just please leave them down below. And we'll see you again. Take care.